financial literacy initiative from Finovate. And today we'd be discussing everything about bonds. So Finovate over the last decade and a half has been conducting this regular events, whether it is webinars, digital events, and even physical events. Over the period of a decade and a half, we've trained more than 50 to 60,000 individuals to handle their personal finance. Finovate specializes in financial life planning, wealth management, and we have a very holistic approach to managing a person's personal finance. And it rests on 6 pillars. Whenever we look at someone's financial lives, we look at their financial goals. We understand the budgeting and taxation. We have a plan for the family to become debt free or EMI free. We make a customized investment portfolio. We also look at the risk. So whether the family needs any kind of health insurance, term insurance. Also, we understand their risk-taking appetite when we design their customized portfolio. And last but not the least, estate planning. Because at the end of the day, we are building all this wealth so that it can go to our family members when it is needed the most. Over a decade and a half, more than 3,000 professionals and their families have trusted us with their hard-earned money. And the way we've been able to give results, it rests on two things. We first make a financial plan and then we put a process in place. Just a plan without the process doesn't work, and just the process without a financial plan, you don't know where you want to go. Even that doesn't work. So we have a very proprietary framework, which we call it as a FinFit financial planning process, where it's a combination of a financial plan and also a process. And then we continuously monitor how the family is growing in terms of their financial fitness. We also have comparatives with the benchmark, and our whole idea is that after all the cost and expenses, whatever portfolios we recommend to people, it should be beating the benchmark, by say 2-3% more after all fees, cost, and everything. So this is what is all about us. And today we bring to you a very important topic, which is everybody in the last 4-5 years, particularly after COVID, have a lot of understanding about equity markets. But when it comes to fixed income, people just think of fixed deposits or PPF and everything. But there is a very big bond market in the country. So today we will deep dive into everything about bonds. Just to go back, my name is Nehal Mota. A lot of you today would have already heard me in many of the previous webinars. I'm the co-founder of Finovate. I'm a postgraduate in management, and with over 2.5 decades now in the financial services industry. Joining me for today's session, our speaker for today is Mr. Brajesh Jaisalmeria. Even he is a postgraduate in management and with 19 years of experience in the bond and the equity market. He is the director at AK Group, which is one of the large institutional and a non-institutional player in the debt market. So we both will be taking today's session forward. And like I said, that a lot of us have awareness about equity markets, but we don't have that much awareness about the bond market. So today we will be covering what is a bond, why should anybody consider investing in a bond and not a fixed deposit, or how would it score against a debt funds. Uh, the most important ingredient when you evaluate or filter a bond is to understand credit ratings. Like when we say, okay, if you have to buy an equity share, then you look at fundamentals and you look at technicals. And right now people talk about techno funda, or basically combining fundamentals with technical analysis. So when I were to look at the fundamentals of a bond, then we need to understand the credit ratings of the bond. What are the types of bonds? Then why you should have bonds in your portfolio, and comparing bonds with other asset classes, like I spoke about that, why should anybody get into bonds? Now, you would have heard me in my previous sessions that we say that when you are building your investment portfolio, there are 4 major asset classes in which most of us invest as retail investors. So one is fixed income. Uh, like this category today, we are discussing bonds fall in the fixed income. What is fixed income? Anywhere you invest money and it gives you a kind of a fixed or guaranteed return. It is not linked to the stock markets or real estate market or anything. Anywhere where you generate a fixed income. Okay, it may be guaranteed or may not be guaranteed, but at least you are generating a fixed income. It is not linked to the equity market. So fixed income is one category. So FD, PPF, bond, debentures, all this kind of fall in the fixed income. Why anybody invest in the fixed income? Because asset allocation is key. 85% of our investing success is because of asset allocation and not too much that which right mutual fund we picked or right stocks we picked. 85% of our investing success depends on getting the right asset allocation. So when I mean asset allocation, I mean okay, there are 4 asset classes. You can see that on my screen. Fixed income, bullion, which is gold and silver or precious metals, equity and real estate. Okay, so as investors, we need to have that right balance between all 4 of them. And when you see on the right of your screen, equity and real estate, these are growing assets. Okay, why do we invest in equity and real estate? Because if inflation is, say, right now in India, anywhere between 5 to 7%, generally the growing asset, which is equity and real estate, will give you 2 times of inflation, approximately 1.5 to 2 times of inflation. So why we invest in equity and real estate, or we call them as growth assets? Because we want to beat inflation by a very handsome margin. And when you see on my left, there is fixed income and gold and silver. Why do we invest? These we just invest because we cannot put everything, all of our money into growth assets. There will be certain goals in our life which are short-term goals, where we need money in 2 years, 3 years, or less than 5 years. Or there are certain goals, like for example, in your business or in your practice, you made a lot of money, you sold some real estate, and you got a lot of capital gains. Now that is already the money which you made returns. Now that returns you want to just protect somewhere. Okay, so protection assets, where you are not looking at any great or high returns, but you want to preserve your capital. So that preservation assets is either gold or silver, or it is fixed income, and bond is one of it. Okay, so generally why people invest in assets which are preservation assets, or they are basically to conserve capital, because they would have made gains somewhere and they want to lock in that gains and basically not take risk on that. Or they may have some goals which are short-term goals, and they're so important goals, like a child's higher education, or it could be like they want to collect money for down payment of a house, and they don't want to take any risk of equity markets on that, and the goal is very near time. That is where they will look at a fixed deposit or a bond or something like that. So as investors, we need to understand all the 4 asset classes, and we need to have a right mix between all the 4 asset classes. Having said that, if you are a very aggressive investor, 40% of your wealth could be in real estate, 40% of your wealth could be in, say, equity. It could be mutual fund, direct shares and all. 10% of your wealth, between 10 to 20%, to each one his own, could be into fixed income, like a bond or like a FD or something. And maybe 10% of the portfolio could be in bullion, which is gold and silver. This is kind of an ideal mix. Okay, so we have been doing a lot of sessions on equity already. Like we did a deep dive session into mutual funds. We looked at calculating returns and all. Today, the objective is that we'll focus on fixed income. And in fixed income, we will particularly focus on bonds. It is such a big bond market, but there is very much lack of awareness about bonds. So with this, we kickstart the session where today the asset class we are focusing on is fixed income. And in fixed income, we will be focusing on bonds and everything about the bond market. So with this, we just kickstart today's webinar. Brajesh, all over to you.
Thank you, Nehal. Lovely insight on Finovate and on the markets as a whole. To start with, we would like to welcome all the audience on behalf of Finovate and AK. Just to give the highlight about AK, we are one of the oldest and largest merchant banker in India. We had 2 feathers in our crown, 2 India Bond House Award, IFR Asia Awards in 2018 and 2023. Just a second. Nehal, our presentation is on, na?
No, we cannot see the screen. We cannot see the PPT.
Yes. So we are one of the largest and oldest player of the bond as in merchant banker house. By and large, we do volumes of somewhere around 3 lakh crore in a year's time. Till date, we have managed 130 public issues of debt and somewhere around 2000 private placement issues. Very interesting thing as this market has grown over a period of time is when we started our journey on the retail debt side, there were few 100,000 demat accounts which were holding the bonds. The latest numbers which I assume is 8 million plus demat holders are holding the bond. So coming back to the basics of the bond, just to give an example that how bond works, just to start with an example, there is an issuer that issues the bond with some kind of security which is can be considered as secured bond or sub-debt bond, which carries a coupon that how much interest that issuer is going to offer with some face value to it. That minimum, this is the kind of face value they are issuing. That can be 1,000, that can be 10,000, that can be lakh, that can be crore. Even to this face value, there have been a lot of regulators involvement to strengthen the retail debt market. Then one major factor is the credit rating, that what is the credit rating and what is the kind of maturity that bond is holding. Is it 2-year bond, 5-year bond, 7-year bond, 20-year bond? Lot of things that needs to be focused on. We're going to display on the next slide that how chronologically one needs to focus on is when we go on the bond side, first and foremost thing is we should look at it is the rating side, that who is the issuer and what kind of rating that bond is having. In India, there are some 6 to 7 rating agencies which holds value to investors. And if we go on the chronological, CRISIL, ICRA, CARE, India Rating are the kind of rating agencies which holds value in terms of the market. The second thing which is most important is the what kind of coupon the bonds are holding and what kind of yields they would be offering. There is slight difference between the yield and coupon which we would be discussing in few slides. So we need to understand that what kind of investments we are making, what kind of yields would we would be getting during our tenure of investment. It is 2 years, 5 years, 7 years kind of thing. Then it comes to the maturity date. That as I told that 2 years, 5 years kind of maturity is there. Then one of the major aspects which over a period of time why this market has been very attractive, has become very attractive, that journey from few thousands demat holders to 8 million plus demat holder is the liquidity. The one of the biggest role play to strengthen this market is the kind of liquidity which the market is being provided on the secondary side. Be it from AAA to kind of AA plus, there is healthy liquidity with some kind of impact cost to there. And then foremost, the thing is coupon rate and payment frequency. When we discuss the second point, yield and coupon rate, along with payment frequency, that coupon rate gets into yield kind of thing. Now, if we are having a coupon of 11% and that bond is for 5 years and that is a monthly payout, then it yield becomes on XIRR basis 11.5. So, that conceptually one needs to understand the IRR concept with coupon rate along with the yield kind of thing. So whenever anybody goes for, buying, go for bond purchase, and what Nehal told that their expertise is to do the financial planning, then that interest payment frequency is the utmost importance to get into that planning. The bond comes with the frequency of monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, annual, cumulative option. So the range has been quite huge, with the range on the maturity side also. In next slide, what we are going to show is the hierarchy in which the rating agencies work. The highest is AAA, then accompanied by AA plus, then A minus, A plus, A minus, triple B, and henceforth. Now, one of the biggest market on the non-institution side, which is getting cultivated, is the sovereign bond, which is issued by the GOI. Generally, these bonds are attached to the country rating, and when we talk of the souvenir, it's like it's one of the best asset class in the country.
Okay, Brajesh, just I'm clarifying for everyone's benefit. If you see when you're evaluating bonds, if we can go to the previous slide, the first thing which he said about evaluating the bond was credit rating. Okay, so in this slide, we are explaining you how to understand the credit rating of the bond. So if we go to the next slide, the best bond which anybody can buy. In fact, no second thoughts also, it will score over a FD of any bank, is the bonds which have the sovereign ratings. If you can see ratings, sovereign, then AAA, AA plus, AA minus, so sovereign. So these bonds are issued by Government of India or by state governments. These are guaranteed either by the central government or they are guaranteed by the state governments. They give a very decent return. It is sovereign guarantee, means there is no risk of default. Okay, if country defaults, which is, given the India's ratings are improving, every year. So these are absolutely safe kind of bonds. You are lending the money to the Government of India. And when you have put money in banks, okay, if anybody can write in the chat, what is a deposit insurance? If you have put crores of rupees of deposits in fixed deposits in bank, and for any reason, if that bank goes through a bad time, then what is a deposit insurance? How much is your deposit insured for, and what will you get if that bank, goes into trouble? And people think that banks don't go into trouble, but very recently, we had one incident of Yes Bank also, which was one of very large private banks. But even they got into trouble, and for certain time, depositors could not withdraw their fixed deposits and all. And I don't want to name, but there are many instances of many other banks also which have got into trouble. So in the chat, if you all can just write, in case if there is a kind of issue with any bank, what is a deposit insurance? How much is your deposit insured for? You may have crores of rupees in fixed deposit, but if the bank is going through the troubles, yeah, I think someone has rightly mentioned in the chat that the deposit insurance is only 5 lakh rupees. Okay. So we feel fixed deposits is absolutely safe. It is guaranteed. It is not like that fixed deposits is absolutely safe or it is guaranteed. The deposit insurance is only 5 lakhs. If the bank gets into the trouble, what is guaranteed is 5 lakh rupees, irrespective of what is your FD. Okay, so if you want to consider, FD is good, like any nationalized bank or any large private bank, fixed deposit is good. But something which you want to do over and above, like you have to de-risk, not everything in fixed deposit. But if you want to move something away from fixed deposit, then what is the second best option which you have? These are the sovereign bonds. These are the bonds which are guaranteed by the Government of India. They pay a very good coupon, and they are mostly, you can say, as risk-free. Yeah, Brajesh, you can take it forward.
Just to add on what Nehal has told, can we go on the next slide? So when we see the hierarchy, the sovereign, the tax-free, there is a slight difference we need to understand regarding the guaranteed bond and the sovereign bond. Sovereign bonds are typically four in nature. They are government securities, they are SDL, state development loan, which are issued by state, but on behalf of RBI. On behalf, RBI takes care of the entire payment mechanism. That's why they are sovereign. The T-bill is the sovereign, and the last part, along with the T-bill, is the zero coupon of the RBI kind of thing. So state guaranteed bond again comes with the rating of that state and nature of that bond. They are not sovereign in nature. So when we see different categories, tax-free, even in tax-free, if we see there are bonds from AAA to A plus, even though they tax-free bonds are issued by PSU, then that rating of that PSU holds the phenomenal thing. Like IRFC, that is AAA, and IFCI is A plus kind of thing, but they can issue tax-free. So one needs to understand that nature of rating agency, that how rating agencies work on the financials and fundamentals of any company. On next slide, please. So considering risk-free, as I told that GSEC and SDLs are issued by central and state government on behalf of RBI. Their payments are semi-annual in nature, considering their potential interest rate. So one of the biggest advantage of these bonds is they are tradable. You can exit at any given of point of time. You can invest minimum 1,000 of the amount in that. And when that interest rate cycle comes, there can be an inbuilt capital gain kind of things. Generally, these rates, because they are directly linked to the repo rate, so they work in tandem with repo and the rate at which government of India borrowed. So a lot of macro and microeconomics plays a role in sovereign GSEC bonds. The biggest advantage is you can invest your money for 50 years. So, one can understand the potential that we are investing in India for 50 years and with regular interest payments. And when interest rate cycle goes on southward side, there are inbuilt capital gains on in it. Apart from that, there are few other things attached to them. They can be pledged with the brokers for margin funding or for equity trading kind of thing. So these are few highlights for GSEC. One thing I want to make sure is SDL can't be pledged. Then it comes the tax-free side. I think tax-free bonds have been last were issued in somewhere around 2015 or start of 2016. Post that, there were no new tax-free issued. There was something like 7 to 9 companies which had come with the tax-free bonds. These generally comes with credit rating from AAA to A plus, and tax-free bonds can only be issued by PSU companies. In 2016, the outstanding amount of tax-free issued was somewhere around 2 lakh crore. Over a period of time from 2021 to 2024, a lot of redemption has come, and the outstanding amount today currently stands about 1.25 lakh crore to 1.4 lakh crore kind of thing. Generally, these are trading at 515 to 525 levels. So what I was mentioning just in previous slides was that capital gain. So when these bonds came, they were issued at levels of somewhere, the top bond which issued was 901 from NHPC. So, 901 tax-free for 20 years, and somebody, if you had the Finovate kind of people who have advised, people would have minted money like anything.
Already, already everybody who has been working with us, 2014, 15, 16, when the tax-free bonds were out, we have lapped up tax-free bonds. People have bought tax-free bonds in crores. And today they are earning, when the interest rate in COVID was down to 6.5%, those people were earning more than 9% tax-free. So you can imagine gross returns were so high. So already people are holding those bonds even now.
So good financial advice can make the returns far better than equity as compared when we talk of bonds. So these people have done a fantabulous job. So their numbers speak from, journey till that they're holding some 3,000, 4,000 clientele. So it talks about volume. Now, as I told that these were issued by PSU for tenure of 10, 15, 20 years kind of thing. So last is somewhere around 2034 or 35, which stands the maturity deadline. Next we talk is rated bonds, state guaranteed rated bonds kind of thing. So these state guarantee bonds are issued by state utility companies. When we talk of state utility, so one is that state directly borrows, and one is state utility companies that borrows the bond. That we called as the SUL. They come with the state guaranteed kind of thing. Generally, like UP Power, Kerala Infrastructure, a lot of these names, popular names are there. Rajasthan Vidyut kind of thing, Meghalaya, Meghalaya Corporation, Meghalaya Electricity Corporation is there. So these are the state.
These are Brajesh. If you were to compare it with Maharashtra, then it will be, I guess, companies similar to BEST and all. Like if you were to compare it with
BST,
Maharashtra.
the BEST was earlier considered as the state company. Post that, restructuring, they are not in the sweet spot of pure state company, state
So
utility.
basically something like a BMC borrowing or something like
BMC,
that, right?
BMC. So now BMC itself is a separate topic altogether. Now that comes in the municipality kind of thing. So a lot of municipality bonds have come with the state guarantee or kind of thing. So they are part. Now state guarantees have extended their branches in terms of bond is UPPCL, state utility to municipality bond kind of thing. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, sure. So, what we first covered was the sovereign bonds, which are issued by central government, and
Yes.
these are called as GSEC, government securities.
GSEC
What
and
we
SDL.
what we covered second was the tax-free bonds, which are issued by the PSUs like REC, IFCI, certain names which you told, IRFC and all. So these are PSUs. So these are also guaranteed bonds, and these tax-free bonds are
They are
issued
secured
by
bonds. They are not guaranteed, but they are secured
they are
against
secured bonds.
principal
They are,
or the
yeah.
asset.
So they are secured bonds, and the third category we discussed is the state guaranteed bonds, which are issued by the state government.
No, they are issued by state utility companies, SUL.
Yeah, but these are also secured bonds, right?
So generally they come with secured. Now that structure depends on each state government, that what security, what lending, what kind of guarantee, what kind of covenant they are providing to the bonds.
Okay, got it. So we will also clarify that what do we mean by secured bonds and unsecured bonds.
Correct.
Because this is very important to understand that either the bond is sovereign, or it is secured, or it is unsecured. These are the three most important components which anybody should see when they are looking at bonds. So we will cover what do we mean by sovereign, what do we mean by secured, and what do we mean by unsecured bonds.
So next category comes as the corporate bonds. One category has been sovereign, the other is tax-free. The next is the state guaranteed bond, and this is the corporate bonds. This covers the entire most of the universe of the corporate bonds. These are generally come with AAA to triple B plus kind of things. Corporate bonds. They are majorly their issuers are NBFCs, which obviously the raw material for NBFC is money. So this is the biggest market for NBFC, which has been opened over a period of time, where the different avenue apart from banks where they can borrow. To name few are, HDFC Limited, REC. On the NBFC side is the Microfinance or Credit Access, Chaitanya. You can name, and the market is flooded with all these kind of corporate bonds in there. So when we talk of this bond market, corporate bond market, we need to understand that the entire decision which needs to be taken on the financial planning side is the rating agency. So AAA bond kind of thing holds 7.5 to 8% kind of thing, and triple B kind can hold 14 to 15% kind of thing. Even though AAA with sub debt, which is unsecured, holds 8%, and triple B secured bond can give you yield and return of 15%. So you know that that prudence needs to be there to understand the mechanism of entire bond covenants and how it would work in repayment. Next slide. Neil, if you have anything.
Yeah, I guess we are going in good order. We discussed sovereign, we discussed tax-free, we discussed the state guaranteed bonds and the corporate bonds. And generally, when anybody invests in mutual funds and they invest in debt funds, so debt funds on behalf of you invest in all these category of bonds. So we will also cover that. But for a layman to understand that who is investing in bonds, so when you invest in debt mutual fund, the fund manager is actually investing in all these bonds on your behalf. Okay, here the session is for you to directly, like we invest in equity market through mutual fund, but we buy shares directly also. So you can invest in bonds via mutual funds also, but you can also directly buy bonds. So today's session, we are focusing on how you can directly buy bonds.
So what Nehal told, and I would just add to that, that when you buy direct bond, the biggest advantage is the kind of capital gain which you can make. And when you go on the mutual fund side, when the underline is these bonds only, so they have restriction that, you know, they would go for AAA with such quantum, or they would only go for a kind of thing. So that mix is defined by that portfolio manager. When you go with the financial planner, they understand that what nitty-gritty can works better in terms of market reach and which can be sold in secondary market. So if somebody, I would just give an example. If we have shown in the text we also, and if I give an example of GSEC also, the returns have been in last 2 years more than 12%. So if you go on the sovereign bond and which can give return of 12%, I think nobody needs to go for triple B kind of thing, but that prudence of investment needs to be done very well. That defines your goal and objective, that how you want to focus on your portfolio. So again, that double A kind of category which we have discussed, we can run through the next slide. So there's this category of bond. I think in last 10 years, that entire market has given a new credit line to bank itself. When we say to corporates, it's different thing. But if somebody says that even, you know, a new avenue of deposit has been opened for banks, is the perpetual bond side, which is tier A1. When we talk of tier 1 bonds, we need to understand the covenances which are attached to that. Probably this is the biggest market today in India for banks to raise money next to the CASA side of the thing. Now perpetual, when that your financial planner, or when it comes to your side, you just need to understand perpetual is simple thing. When we see to our mobile and we have that you know, calendar that is perpetual in nature, which never ends. If you want to see 100 years backside or coming years, 100 years calendar, you can see to it. So perpetual works on those side, but it comes with an call or put option. Call option, the issuer can exercise, or the put option, the investor can exercise. So technically, this perpetual bond becomes relevant for maturity, for call and put option kind of thing. So whenever anybody is investing, I would not go on the yield side of it or which bank to be invested on.
I guess Brajesh's network is a little slow. So what he meant was that one more category of bonds, which is perpetual bonds. And mostly banks and NBFCs are issuing these perpetual bonds. And what was perpetual mean? That these bonds don't have any fixed maturity. They go on and on. But as an investor, I have a put option. That means whenever I want to exit, I can exit that bond. And if the bank wants to exit that bonds, they can call the bonds back. So if the issuer, yeah, I'm explaining the call and put. I hope I am audible to everyone
Yeah. So
because
I'm
I guess,
audible now, na? I'm audible, na?
yeah, now you're audible. Yeah. So I was just explaining everyone what is a call and put option.
So
So
this,
perpetual bonds actually do not have any maturity. They are perpetual. They go on and on. But in case for some reason, as an investor, I want to exit, I can exercise a put option. That means I want to exit this bond. And if I'm a bank and I have issued this perpetual bonds, then I have a call option. Means I can call the bonds back and pay you your principal back with whatever interest I have to pay. So these are perpetual, but anybody, the issuer can also exit and the investor also can exit the bonds by the call and the put options.
so just to add on this, that these are not the random call and put option. They are predefined. So whenever any banks come, so earlier it used to have 10-year call option, call or put option. Now it is 5-year mandatory. So that bond technically becomes of 5 year, and it is assumed that after 5 years the bank would call the money. Now post COVID, SEBI has introduced one major guidelines in benefit of the investors, that these perpetual bonds would come with 1 crore face value. So it is assumed that these bonds are not sold, missold in the market, and it is assumed that whoever investing minimum 1 crore in a bond would read through the covenances, read through the IM, and read through about the technicalities of the bond. So that one major framework for investor benefit has been done by the SEBI. You want to add anything, Neil?
No, I guess we'll move forward. We'll explain certain important concepts of bond is basically when you invest in bond or any fixed return instrument, there are two things which we have to keep in mind. Like two things, why we are investing in something which is fixed return. One is to earn the regular interest, and second is okay, we should get our principal also back. So we need to be giving money in fixed income where we are assured that our principal will definitely come back, but we will also keep on getting regular interest. So a lot of people were asking me, okay, is rating important or is interest important? So I can say that someone who has very low ratings, okay, will give high interest. Why they are giving high interest? Because that is little riskier. So high risk is equal to high returns. Okay. So when you are investing in, if you want to take risk, then you go to equity market. But when you are in the debt market or you are in the bonds, why you invested? Because you want a fixed return and you want your principal also to be protected. So in the bond, you need to see two things. The bond which I am buying, is it from a central government? Is it from a state government? Is it secured? Will I get my principal back on maturity, and will that interest payments or that coupon payments, will it come regularly? So I feel the rating or whom am I buying the bond from is very important in the bond market, because we want the capital also to come back and we want that regular coupon also to be paid to us. Because in bond, what happens if you went for a high interest bond, but if it's very risky bond, like the entity issuing is a very high risk entity, then you may get that interest payment, but there is a risk of losing the capital or principal. So you should be very clear about the rating of the bond and who is issuing the bond. The bond, the company, or whoever is the issuer, what is the kind of stability of that institution, what is a credit rating, is it a secured bond or not? That is absolutely important when looking at bonds. Yeah, you can take it forward.
Sandhya, please. 16 slide. Sandhya, slide 16. So what we discussed earlier, that how the Indian debt market is all about, there are two major borrowers. There are two major borrowers. One is Government of India and the other is the corporate bond market or the companies which borrow. In government bond market, there are two things. One is GSEC and SDL, and one thing, this GSEC, which the Government of India borrows less than 1 year, is T-bill. So generally the mechanism is RBI conducts an auction and anybody, institution or PD can participate in that. The most interesting part is on the corporate bond side. There are by and large two sets of it, that how money can be raised on the corporate bond side. One is the public issue mechanism and other is the private placement mechanism. When we talk of public issue mechanism, it is by and large to cater or to tap the market on the retail, hardcore retail side. So their face value minimum becomes 1,000 to 8. And whatever public issues are there in the market or which comes, they are purely in form of NCDs, and these are backed by assets. Broadly, you would find minuscule of public issues which are sub-debt in nature, because it caters to the large side of the retail side. They are NCD in nature and they are secured in nature. Secured, it may be in terms of security, asset cover. It may be in terms of secured in terms of receivable kind of thing, or any other mechanism in which it can become. The other part is the private placement side, where the face value can be minimum 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, or 1 crore, depend on the nature of the bond. So if perpetual bond is there, it needs to be have 1 crore face value. And on private placement side, they can be issued on two sides, either it listed or on unlisted. So one thing I want to make clear is public issue bonds are always listed, either on BSE or NSE or on WDM side of the it. Private placement, they have the flexibility to get listed, unlisted kind of thing. We would discuss later in the presentation that what is the benefit of listed and unlisted bonds. So to draw a comparison, Nehal, would you like to draw? I would support, or I draw, you support, whatever you.
Sure. This is the most important thing, that what is the difference between investing in a bond and investing in fixed deposits, okay? So right now, I'll just give you an example. If you were to go and make a fixed deposit in a bank, can you write in the chat box that what kind of interest rate will you get if you make a FD in a bank right now? Can you all just write in the chat box, okay, currently the bank fixed deposits, like what returns are you getting? What is the interest which you're getting? If you all can write in the chat. Yeah, I think a lot of people are writing that currently if they want to make a FD in the bank, the interest rate is between 7.2, 7.5, 7.25, 7%. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Right now, we are in the highest interest rate in the country, and the interest rate right now is around 7.5. Senior citizens hai, to 8% tak bhi interest rate hai. Now, if anybody can write in COVID, when COVID happened, and if you had any fixed deposits which were to be renewed, the renewal of those fixed deposits were happening in COVID time at what interest rate? If you all can put in the chat box. In COVID, if you all had any interest rate, like any FDs which were to be renewed, then the renewal of that FD happened at what interest rate? Okay, some people are writing 5 to 6%. Yeah, in COVID, yes. If in COVID, any of your fixed deposits were maturing, then what interest rates were they getting renewed again? Some people are writing 5, 6%, 5%. Yeah, any more answers before I actually reveal both the scenario? Any other answers? Okay, COVID FD renewal 5.25. Yes, I think most of you all have given the correct answer. Okay, what is one of the biggest risk which we have in fixed deposits. Generally, people do fixed deposit for 2 year, 3 year, 5 year. Okay. And now when the fixed deposit is maturing, at that time, if they have to renew their fixed deposit, whatever interest rate is applicable at that time, it could be 6%, it could be 5%, it could be 9%, it could be, if it is high, it is very good. But if it is low, then their fixed deposits get renewed at a much lower rate. So when we invest in fixed deposit, we always carry a interest rate risk. Okay. And also the fixed deposit doesn't give us liquidity. Like for example, I have done a 5 year fixed deposit and now market has suddenly fallen a lot. Okay. And I want to remove that money from fixed deposit and put it in market. Or I got a very good real estate deal and I want to make the investment. I have to break my fixed deposit. When you break the fixed deposit, whatever interest you were supposed to get, there is a certain hit on the interest. So fixed deposit, you carry a interest rate risk because whenever renewal happen, it will happen on that time's interest rate. Okay. And second is there is no liquidity. So these are the two risks which you have in fixed deposit. Now, what happens in bond right now? What is the interest rate in the country? It is the highest. Okay. Right now, we are at the highest interest rate. Now, if you buy a government security right now, and if that government security is giving you 7% interest, then you get that 7% interest not for 3 year, 2 year, 5 year. You can buy a government security up to 2050, 2060. We are in 2024. Okay, 2034, 44, 54, 64. There are GSEC for 40 years. What does that mean? You have locked in this 7% interest rate for the next 40 years. Let anything happen to the interest rate. If interest rates come down, you still get 7%. Okay. So you are locking in this interest rate for the next 40 years. So what is the advantage of the bond? That the bond are issued for very long tenure. There are 10 year, 20 year, 30 year, 40 year, 50 year bonds. And even GSEC, central government bonds are also for 30, 40 years. Okay. So certain amount of money, you can put it in these bonds. These are guaranteed by central government. So, there is no risk of default. It's not like bank, may I have put a big FD and if something happens to the bank, then the deposit insurance is only 5 lakh. It's not like that. These are bonds which are guaranteed by central government, GSEC. And that 7% interest, whatever you're getting in, you're locked in for the next 40 years. So you're not taking any reinvestment risk when your FD matures and the maturity happens at that interest. Now imagine we are a developing country. Okay. Soon we will be like 7 trillion, 10 trillion kind of economy. In fact, government has a vision 2048 to become a developed country. Okay, what is the interest rate in the developed country right now? Right now, if you see all developed countries, what is the interest rate? Generally, the interest rate is between 3 to 5% in the developed countries. Okay, yeah, someone has written 2%. Depends on the country, but generally, in a developed country, interest rates are at a much lower rate. Okay, now someone has made a lot of money in equity markets or in their business and all, and they want to secure that money and they want that good interest rate, which can give them little more than inflation. Okay, so they can right now buy GSEC and lock in their money for the next 40 years at 7% kind of an interest rate. Okay, so there is a big advantage which bonds have over fixed deposits. Okay, what is one very big advantage? As I told you that we are not taking interest rate risk. Second is we are not taking any capital risk because these are GSEC bonds. And the third thing is liquidity. In case of an emergency, if it's a listed bond, you can just sell the bond in BSE, NSE, any of the exchanges, and you can get the money back. Okay. And at that time, if the interest rate is low, only thing is because it is linked to the interest rate. So sometimes bond prices can go up and down. But right now we are in a high interest rate regime. So if anybody is buying the bond right now, and when the interest rates come down, then they will also stand to have some capital gains. Okay.
So,
and at that point of time, there is liquidity. And if they exit the bond, it's liquid. You can get your money very quickly as compared to a fixed deposit, which is like locked in. And when you break it, there is a little interest loss. Okay, so
Nehal,
these are a couple of advantages. Yeah, Brajesh, you can
yeah.
add to what
So
I've said.
somebody has asked, can you also compare bonds with arbitrage fund or fixed instrument? So I would just highlight that arbitrage is on daily kind of basis. So 6 months or 8 months back, when the VIX was high, the arbitrage fund were giving somewhere around 9% kind of return, and today they are at 6/4, 6.5 or 7% kind of thing. So they are day to day in nature, which can't be compared with 40-year or 50-year or 30-year bond kind of thing. But if you compare any mod duration with any of the GSEC, as I told half an hour back, that in GSEC, in last 1.5 year, 2 year, people have made 12% kind of IRR thing. So somebody has asked that how interest rate decrease will give capital gain to us. So the simple thing is, if the 7% is the coupon, or 7/4 is the coupon rate, and the bond is of 10 years, or the mod duration of bond is 8 years, you will typically get 6 paisa kind of thing on 1 bip downside. So 100 bip, there would be 6 rupees gain on 10-year bond. And if you go for 40-year bond, the more duration for remaining would be 35 years kind of thing. You will make somewhere around 11 rupees on 100 bip downside.
Just 1 second. I'll explain this with a little example and raw example. I'm just showing it in an Excel sheet right now. If you can just stop sharing your screen, I'll share my Excel sheet where we'll do a small working that when interest rates come down, how do you have capital gains in bond also? We will just do that working. Okay, how does this happen? I'm just sharing an Excel sheet. Say if you are an investor who has bought a bond where the coupon is 7%. Okay, means the interest rate the bond is paying is 7, and the bond was issued at 1,000 rupees. Okay, so 1,000 was the face value of the bond, and you also bought the bond at 1,000 rupees. I'm just giving an example. Okay, it was a fresh issue. 1,000 rupees ka face value ka bond you bought at 1,000 rupees. So say this is the face value, and this is the market value of the bond. And I'll just give an example कि आपने 1 lakh rupees invest किया. Okay, so you invested 1 lakh rupees in this bond. Okay, now on that 1 lakh rupees, you got 10 bonds. Okay, because 100 bonds. I think कितना आ रहा है? 100 आ रहा है, right? 1,000 का. So you got 100 bonds. And you bought it at the interest rate of 7%. Okay, and the market value was also 1,000. So you managed to get 100 bonds. Now what happens if the interest rate in the country comes down? Okay, now for whatever reason 7% का interest rate कम होके 6% हो गया. I'm just giving an example कि now RBI is meeting and RBI is saying कि 25 पैसे करके interest rate हम कम कर रहे हैं. अभी क्या होगा? Interest rate 6% हो गया है. Okay, now your bond, your 100 bonds, will they pay 6% or they will pay 7%? Okay, you invested 1 lakh rupees, you got 100 bonds and 7% was the return. So what return are you getting? On 1 lakh rupees, 7% is how much? 7,000. You're getting 7,000 interest. Okay, now when the interest rate became 6,000 or 6%, okay, but you will not get 6%, you will keep getting 7%. Okay, so now there are a lot of insurance companies or lot of institutions who will say कि आपके बॉन्ड में तो ज्यादा मिल रहा है, अभी अगर मैं बॉन्ड लेता हूं तो मुझे तो सिर्फ 6% मिल रहा है, तो एक काम करो आप मुझे अपना बॉन्ड दे दो, because your bond on 1 lakh rupees is earning 7,000. So what will happen? The bond ka market price, market value, 1,000 rupees ka bond will now become say 1,100 rupees, or it will become 1,200 rupees, because demand for your bond went up. When interest rates come down, तो जो ओल्ड बॉन्ड्स थे जिसपे हायर इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है उसका डिमांड बढ़ रहा है, बिकॉज अभी कोई इंश्योरेंस कंपनी या अभी कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन आ रही है वो ये देख रही है कि अभी के बॉन्ड तो 6% दे रहे हैं, वो जूना वाला बॉन्ड है ना वो 7% दे रहा है. सो दे विल से आई एम रेडी टू ऑफर यू ऑन 1,000 रुपीज का जो आपका फेस वैल्यू था बॉन्ड का, आई एम रेडी टू ऑफर यू 1,100. आई एम रेडी टू ऑफर यू अ लिटिल मोर, कैन यू सेल योर बॉन्ड टू मी? एंड सो व्हाट हैपेंस, आपके बॉन्ड की मार्केट वैल्यू बढ़ती जाती है. ओके, एंड दैट इज हाउ you make a capital gain. Okay, now for example you feel कि oh my god मैंने तो 1,000 रुपए में बॉन्ड खरीदा अभी 1,200 हो गया, मतलब मुझे 7% इंटरेस्ट तो मिला 2-3 साल तक, बट अभी मुझे 1 लाख का मेरा जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो 20% बढ़ गया है, तो 1,20,000 मुझे मिल रहे हैं. So I will actually exit because 20% I'm making capital gains. And till the time I was holding the bond, I was getting 7% interest. Okay. So this is very attractive to a lot of people. And what Brajesh was saying, a lot of people have made returns up to 12% in GSEC. It is because of this. Because in the high interest rate, they earned a lot of high interest. And then when the interest rate starts coming down, the bond ka market price goes up. And that is how they earn 20% in capital gains, and they earn that 7% regular income. And so whenever in the country, if the interest rate is at a very high level, that is the best time for you to keep buying government securities. Just keep buying government securities, because in the next 2-3 years, when the interest rates come down, you will not only be till that time earning a high interest, but you will also have a huge capital gain. Okay, so this is how it works. Face value of the bond, market value of the bond, and the coupon. And coupon is fixed. Okay, and interest rate. So if the interest rate comes down, market price of the bond will go up. If interest rate goes up, market price of the bond. Positive scenario bataya. If it was ulta, if that 7% ka interest rate would have gone up to 8%, what would have happened? Now your bond is giving you 7,000, but if I buy a new bond, I'm getting 8,000. Then your 1,000 rupees market value of the bond can also become 900, or it can become even lesser. But are you going to be worried? No, you're not going to be worried, because अगर आप बेचोगे तो वो 900 पे बिकेगा. But if you hold the bond till maturity, your 1,000 face value is always guaranteed. So this is the best part about the bond, कि अगर interest rate बढ़ता है तो आपकी बॉन्ड की मार्केट वैल्यू कम होती है, पर आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. आप बॉन्ड को मैच्योरिटी तक होल्ड करोगे तो जो भी आपका प्रिंसिपल है वो गारंटीड है. ओके, बट अगर इंटरेस्ट रेट कम होता है एंड अगर आपके बॉन्ड की मार्केट प्राइस बढ़ती है, तो आपके पास फुल फ्रीडम है उस बॉन्ड को एग्जिट करने के लिए. तो इंटरेस्ट भी मिल गया और हाई कैपिटल गेन्स भी आपने बुक कर लिया. सो दिस इज द बेस्ट पार्ट अबाउट द बॉन्ड. ऑन द डाउन साइड, you can hold the bond till maturity. It is guaranteed. You keep getting that interest. But on the upside, you are free to exit the bond, book the capital gains, and till that time, keep earning the interest. Okay. So like I said, that when you invest in fixed deposits, you have the interest rate risk and you have the liquidity risk. In the bonds, if you have invested in the bond right now, which is the high interest rates regime, you have locked in a good interest rate and there is always liquidity, because you can exit that bond and get your money back at any point of time. Okay. So this is a few advantages which bonds have over fixed deposit. And when it is the right time, हम बोलते हैं ना इक्विटी मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करने का बेस्ट टाइम कब है? कोविड की मार्च 2020 में, जब मार्केट निफ्टी was down to 7,000. Okay. What is Nifty now? If you all can write in the chat box, what is Nifty now? Nifty was in March 2020 down to 7,000. Okay, that was the best time to invest in the equity market. जब equity market गिरता है तब best time है. तो bond में invest करने का best time कब है? जब interest rate एकदम high है. That is a right time to invest in bonds. If you want to understand the correlation के V से कि जब market टूटती है, that is the best time to invest in equity. तो जब interest rate high होता है, that is the best time to invest in bonds, and particularly GSEC bonds. Yeah, we can move on to the presentation. I will stop my screen sharing. Someone rightly said the Nifty is 27-28,000. So just imagine किसी ने March 2020 में निफ्टी में भी 7,000 के इंडेक्स पे पैसे डाले होते, तो अभी वो कितना टाइम हो गया? 28,000. Okay, it's like 4 times already. Yeah, we will be covering the tax implication of bonds. It is similar to fixed deposits, but we will definitely cover that. You are on mute, Brajesh. If you can unmute and we can take this forward.
Sorry. So we have covered the comparison of bond versus FD, now mutual fund. Lot of things we have covered on the mutual fund side. the broad things which have changed on the structure side of post 2024 budget is the definition of long-term capital gain on listed and unlisted bond is 12.5% would be capital gain for 1 year bond kind of thing. And the mutual fund taxation goes on a different thing altogether. For the duration fund, it's different. For the whatever other funds are there, the nail on that. But on the bond side, the 12 months is the long-term capital gain. Post 12 months is the long-term capital gain, and less than 12 months is the short-term capital gain kind of thing. Now, the interest would be treated on the interest rate slab, and the capital gain, either short-term or long-term, would be 12.5%, and short-term would be 25% for the corporates. This is the very simple thing on the taxation side of it, post 24 budget. Transparency is huge on the both side. Mutual fund also having the transparency in terms of the letters and everything. And when we talk on the bond side, this market is getting evolved every day. So regulator are also very active, as I told that, they have changed the definition on the perpetual side from 10 lakhs to 1 lakh on the face value side to, get 1 crore to get the investor awareness more. So the transparency is there on the both side when compared on the product per se. Functional advantage we have talked about, tax advantage we have talked about, returns we
I
have
think
talked
we will
about.
clarify the tax benefit. Okay. After the recent budget change, if you buy a listed bond, okay, and if you buy a listed bond for more than 1 year, like 3 year, 5 year and all. So in bond, you earn in 2 ways. You earn a interest. So the interest, like fixed deposit interest, it is taxed at your slab. But in that bond, if you have capital gains, like we said, if you are in the high interest rate regime and you have bought GSEC at a very high interest rate. Okay, and if interest rates come down, then there is capital gains. So after the recent budget, if you have bought a listed bond, okay, and you get a capital gain in the listed bond, then after 12 months, the tax is only 12.5%. Okay. But if you have invested in a debt mutual fund, how does a debt mutual fund make money? They also will get that interest, plus the bonds will plus they will also earn capital appreciation on GSEC bonds and also it's a combination in the debt mutual fund. But in the debt mutual fund, whatever return you make when you exit that mutual fund, say you bought a debt mutual fund, you exit after 3 years or 5 years, everything is taxed at your tax slab. Okay. Now that's a very big difference. In the bond, in the listed bond, now you have a benefit of long-term capital gain of only 12.5% versus your income tax slab. Okay. So if you are buying, if you're putting in debt funds for more than 5 years, 7 years, 10 years kind of a horizon, then for you directly buying GSEC is more tax efficient than investing in debt funds when the horizon is a little longer. Only advantage in a mutual fund is that interest also gets accrued in the fund and the capital gains also, right? So you are not paying that tax every year. When you exit that mutual fund, the debt mutual fund, you are taxed on the gains at the tax slab at that point of time. Okay, but you're just deferring your tax. What happens in the bond? Whatever interest you get, that is taxed at your slab rate. But whatever capital gains you make, that will be long-term 12.5% if your holding tenure is more than 12 months. So that is like an example. So here we have given like a full table that which bond, what kind of tax is applicable for all the people who are attending today's session. We will send you a copy of this screen which you're seeing right now, because it will help you understand the taxation of the bonds which you intend to buy in case if you want to buy bonds. Rajesh, you can just quickly run them through this data.
I think rest everything's remained the same because the definition itself was changed. So either it was gold, physical asset. So that came from 36 months to 12 months and 24 months to 12 months and 2 years. So everything has been on par in terms of the number of years. Earlier, there were differences of 1 year, 3 year kind of thing, but now everything is at par. So everything remains at 12 months, 12.5%. So next, we would throw some light on the process of how one can buy the GSEC. there are two ways to buy the GSEC in retail side. One is the off market, where you pay to your financial planner and they arrange the GSEC and get it done in DMAT and they give to you. And the another one is the RFQ platform, where you get registered with the NSE, where your advisor or we can help you out to get registered on the platform. And GSEC or SLR deals are always done on T+1 basis. So if we do on RFQ platform, you get we do deal today on T+1 basis. You pay the money to the platform, and the stock will get credited to you. And in the off market, on T+3 basis, you can get the stock. This is the normal process of the deal settlement. Now, if you want to, you are new, so you need to get registered either with your advisor or AK, anybody, which is a process. You need to do your KYC and things would get it done in that fashion. That's the process of KYC, and that is the process of deal settlement. There are two different aspects to the
DMAT is mandatory. You should have a
DMAT is
DMAT
mandatory.
account to buy bonds, because bonds will go into your DMAT account only. And that is the reason we say ke it's a very good way of investing, because the bonds will come in, rest in your DMAT account. Okay, so you are always under the control of the bonds which you have bought.
So that's what the public issue kind of thing. I think public issue, we have told this is the process, that how it works. Some issuer files the prospect, then the consortiums and channel partners get enrolled. There is a bidding for every form. Payment is done on the ASBA basis now. Within 3 days, the allotment is done, and then listing is done. So within 5 days, if somebody wants to exit for public issue, he can exit. So we have discussed that there is a ready secondary market which is highly tradable, and the bonds get trade on all those things. And this is end-to-end dealing process where we talk. So there were two things which we talk. One is the settlement process and one is the KYC process. This is again mix of both the things, the settlement and the KYC part of it. Neil, you want to add on this?
Yeah, sure. So in case if you all want to buy bonds, we'll show you that if some investor comes to us to buy bonds, then we ask, are they looking at monthly income, or what is the reason to buy bonds? And then we will understand their risk-taking ability, and we'll show them whatever bonds are available. I'll show you how we get the details of all the bonds. I'll show you one, like someone was asking me, how do we come to know different things? I'll show you how we share the data of bonds. So then they choose, okay, we want this 2-3 kind of bonds. Once they have selected the bonds, then in case if they are registered with us, the KYC would already be done, or else we immediately do a KYC. Then we send them one deal sheet where they find the market value, they find the face value, they find coupon, they find yield, they find maturity date. Every detail about that bond is there. Once they are okay with that, they transfer the payment to Indian Clearing Corporation. The payment doesn't come to anybody. It goes to the Indian Clearing Corporation, and then the bond is moved to their DMAT account. So this is how the whole transaction works. I will also share, tomorrow, if someone wants to buy the bond, then what all options are available. I'll just maybe quickly take you all through the current options in GSEC, state government and all. That will give you all very good idea of what we have been explaining in the last 1 hour. Yeah, you can take it forward, Brajesh.
So next slide we have already covered. You can run through. We have covered this KYC and settlement process, buy and sell, how things work. The individual KYC can done on the portal also, which Nehal will explain, or you might have done with the Finovate. Next slide, Sandhya. So comparative analysis, the financial planner can throw highlight. We are not financial planner, that you know how to construct on the portfolio side.
Yeah, so like we said, right, here there is one example given, that there's some Mr. Shah. He's 52 years of age. His investment horizon is 4 to 5 years, and he wants to invest, say, 15 crore. He has just given an option. Then comparison of bonds and similar asset class. So what did I say? What is bond falls to which asset class? Debt asset class or fixed income asset class. So I will look at fixed deposits. I look at bonds. I look at like PPF, or I look at some kind of government papers, T-bills, many things like that, right? So now I will then eliminate. PPF is not suitable to him because his investment horizon is 4-5 years. Okay. I look at fixed deposits also because I'll do a combination of fixed deposits and bonds. So if you can see on the right, for this investor, the portfolio overview along with comparison, return analysis, cash flow analysis, and revenue outcome. Whatever revenue outcome is not very relevant here. So investment options which are available to Mr. Shah for sovereign bond, corporate bonds, fixed deposit, and corporate FD. So I will look at this 4 kind of options. Okay, is sovereign bond suitable to this person? Is a corporate bond suitable? Is a fixed deposit suitable, or is a corporate FD? And generally, we as financial planners will give you a mix of all this. We will never put everything just in bonds or just in fixed deposits or just in corporate deposits or corporate bonds. It should be like a mix of all this. Just move on. Next slide. Okay, so yeah, you can take this slide. In meanwhile, I will show them the current bonds which are available.
Move on to next slide. Move on to next slide.
Next slide.
This one. What Nehal was talking is requirement which can be constitute of existing portfolio if he's running. As he has mentioned that his age is 52, what kind of appetite he would be running. So these people would construct that portfolio on the basis of the appetite and the requirement of the fund flows, that the requirement, the regular cash flows, then it can be monthly, quarterly, annually, or they are looking for something, cumulative of 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years kind of thing. So entire thing would be designed along with, we can go slightly higher on the credit side and, 5-10% of credit with mix of GSEC, with mix of, so your portfolio is balanced, which can give you some 8.5 to 9% with good mix of bonds covering from sovereign to AA minus kind of thing, which these people are very expert of it. And they can construct on the entire basis. They are the market players, so they had that range with them that what needs to be inculcated in your portfolio.
Can we now take up the example, because people said that 2 things like they are looking at. They want to understand what is coupon rate, what is the face value of bond, and what is the market value, and what is the yield. Everybody wanted to understand what is the current yield and what is the yield to maturity. So if we can take one example of current yield and yield to maturity and coupon rate, I think that will help people understand. So Brajesh, if we have it in a slide, do we have like in the next slides
Yes,
example?
Yeah.
So can we? Yes. We'll go to that. I think let's continue with the presentation. We will come to the yield because a lot of people are asking questions on the yield.
Sandhya,
go back, Sandhya.
Sandhya, go to 9th slide, please. Tenth side, 10. Yes. So look at this. There is first column is the coupon. That what is the coupon? What is the interest that guy would be having when it has issued on 100 rupees. So this is 8% is the coupon. The security name is HDFC Limited Secured Bond 2032. Now these were secured because these were issued by HDFC Limited, not bank. This is before the merger. Now the maturity was 27 July 2032. The IP date, that is interest payment date annually, would be 27th July. The rating is AAA. The face value is 10 lakhs. The minimum quantum which can invest is 10 lakh because the face value is 10 lakh. And this bond is currently trading at 8-10 yield. So this means that this is trading at a discount of 10 bips and 10 bips discount means it would be trading at somewhere around 99, 40, 50 kind of thing. I think this is an example of previously issued bond. So it would be trading at 99, 60 kind of thing. In last 1 week, the market has rallied a lot. So these levels are changed now. So I hope I made a point.
Yeah, but like if we can just explain them with one example of YTM and the current yield and the
Yes.
coupon. So
So
if in an Excel you can show one quick example, it will be good. And in meanwhile, I'm trying to open the slide on. I'll share my screen. And meanwhile, if you
no,
can do one
Sanjay,
Excel example.
go to that screen. I will show that what Nehal is upon.
Yeah, I'm right now showing the bond examples also. I think if in meanwhile you can
Well,
take the.
so in this slide, the coupon is 8% and the current yield is 8.10. So this bond is trading at a discount. If somebody wants to, on layman language, if you want to understand, you need to understand this posture. When yield goes up, the price go down. And when price goes up, the yield goes down. That is very simple. You can never forget this. We explain to all our investors in this fashion only. So in this, the yield is going up. So your price would be down. It would be trading in a discount. And when your price goes up, the yields goes down. It means it's trading in a premium. I hope
So
I made the point clear.
yeah, so Brajesh, I think for investors, if they are buying bonds when the price is low and the yield is high,
Yeah.
is the best time for them to invest in bonds. If you want to explain in the layman language.
Layman language, probably it's good time, but you need to understand the basic thumb rule, the credit rating. Suppose it's a sovereign bond, is GI, which is quoting at 8%, probably your fiscal numbers are not bad, and there is a pressure for temporary 2-3 quarters, one can definitely grow. And if it's triple B kind of bond, which is already issued at 15%, and that again is trading at 25%, then there is our concern. So it's not a plain thumb rule that कोई भी चीज डिस्काउंट में मिल रही है तो ले लो. You need to now. That's what I'm saying again and again. People like Finovate come with rich kind of experience. They would segregate and make you understand that what would be the likelihood chances of discounted bond to be taken.
What I'm doing is that I'm sharing my screen right now. If you can see currently how the data for the bonds come. So if I were to show you perpetual bonds, see the category perpetual bonds. If you all can see my screen, State Bank of India perpetual bond is available where the yield is 7.05. Bank of Baroda perpetual bond where the yield is 7.75. Okay, and you can see the call date is 13 January 26. So the bank can call the bonds back on 13 Jan 26. There are certain bonds like Chola Mandalam Finance, which is again a perpetual bond. They can call the bond at 2034. And right now, Chola Mandalam perpetual bond is offering 9.42%. Okay, if you can see this. And like he rightly said, to protect retail investors, in a perpetual bond, the minimum ticket size has gone up. So generally, corporates and institutions are investing in this. When I were to come to private bonds, again, you can see what is available right now. If you can see, Shriram Finance is offering a secured bond, which will mature in May 2026. The interest payment is on 4th of May every year. It is available in the multiple of 10 lakhs. And right now, the yield for this bond is 8.60%, 8.60. Okay, so this is one more example. Then I will just scroll down. Okay, these are state guaranteed bonds. What we were talking about, the state utility corporations. Okay, so if you can see, these are unsecured, unsecured, unsecured. So we generally say stay away from unsecured bonds. We will look at secured bonds. Okay, so now if you can see, this is UP Power Corporation 2029. So the bond are maturing on 28, 28, 28, 29, 25, 25%. And these bonds are giving a yield right now of 8.62%. But if you can see, these are secured. It is written secured. What are the date of interest payment? That is written. What is a credit rating? A plus. What is a face value? You can invest in multiples of 10 lakh up to 50 lakh. Every single detail of the bond is given. So if anybody comes to us, we want to buy the bond, we'll give all these details. What is the maturity? What is the interest payment date? What is the yield? Is the bond secured, not secured? So whatever we discussed, all this information, anybody whom you transact the bonds with should be able to give you the bonds. Now, these are high yielding, some of the corporate bonds, which are very high yielding bonds. So like that, many options are there. I will also see if I can get some current GSEC options. I'll show you that currently what the GSECs are giving and how the GSEC looks like. Yeah, you can continue, Brijesh, till the time I open certain options in GSEC also.
I think more or less we have covered. Last two slides we have already covered. Now we can run through any Q&A along with your GSEC slide.
Yeah, sure. I think 1 or 2 slides were pending. Let's complete that. And meanwhile, I'm
We have covered that. We have
on.
covered that. We have covered that. During the course of our presentation, these two slides, last two slides we have covered. You are on mute. Neil, you are on mute.
I'm just giving one example right now. Somebody wanted GSEC. So if you can see, 2061, government security of 2061, where the coupon is 6.76. But right now, the yield to maturity, annual yield is 7.1%. So this investor wanted to buy a GSEC, which is maturing in 2061. We are in 24, 34, 44, 54, 64, almost like more than 40 years old GSEC. It is available. So if you can see the coupon is 6.95. The value date, this was as on 24th of 7. The rate of this bond was 100 and the yield to maturity was 7.07 and 7.10%. So this investor who was trying to buy GSEC would get locked in at a 7.1% interest rate for the next 40 years. Okay. So this is how GSEC will come. Because this is government security, there is no rating. It is sovereign rating. Okay. So this is one example I'm giving. Okay. There are so many GSEC bonds available for 2040, 50, 60 with different maturity. And you will come to know what is the yield to maturity, the coupon, the market price of the bond, everything. So now I think we will take Q&A. If still you all want to understand, anything about the bonds and all, you all can now put questions in the Q&A also, in the chat also. If you feel anything you want to understand yield to maturity, you want to understand price, you want to understand coupon, then we will, talk about it. What do you mean by bond prices have rallied up recently? Brijesh, you want to take this question?
So when we say bond, it has never been bond prices rallied up. It has been always bond rallied. So when we say bond rallied, yield बढ़ गया, price yield घट गया. It's like that. When we say bond rallied, मतलब yield घट गया, price बढ़ गया. I am again saying when bond rallied means yield घट गया और price बढ़ गया. I hope I'm clear. So somebody is asking what would be the price of GSEC, which we have mentioned. So currently 2064 GSEC is trading somewhere around 695 kind of levels. Can you get loan against bonds? So perpetual bonds, only NBFC can lend, banks can't lend. On secured bonds, depend on your banking relation, what kind of haircut they do, they can lend. On the GSEC side, GSEC, there is no direct lending. GSEC can only be used as margins in exchanges. Nowadays, if you are a businessman, along with your borrowing limits, with some other components of, you give assets, you can give some component of GSEC in that. These are few things for the loan against bond. What is the yield in bond? Which bond? I don't know.
No, they want to understand what does the yield mean in bond. So I think still people are confused between difference of coupon and yield. If that's the reason in an Excel, if we can do that.
एक्सेल नहीं, मैं आपको बहुत आसान भाषा में समझा देता हूँ. 100 रुपए पे 7 रुपया कमाते हो तो 7,000 रुपया मिलता है. 101 पे 7 रुपया कमाओगे तो आपका यील्ड हो जाएगा 6.6 या 6.5. मतलब आपने 101 रुपए पे 7,000 कमाया तो आपका यील्ड कितना हुआ, और 100 रुपए पे 7 रुपया कमाया तो आपका यील्ड कितना हुआ. इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, द लाइफ इज सिंपल. 101 रुपए पे 7,000 कमाया तो मेरा यील्ड कितना हुआ, और 100 रुपए पे 7,000 कमाया तो मेरा यील्ड कितना हुआ. दैट्स इट. नेहाल, अगर आपको इसमें ऐड करना है तो कर सकते
वही
हो.
मतलब व्हाट ब्रजेश इज ट्राइंग टू से कि फेस वैल्यू बॉन्ड की होती है. मतलब लोग उसी से कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं. अगर समझो 1,000 रुपया बॉन्ड की फेस वैल्यू है और वो बॉन्ड में आपने 1 लाख रुपए इन्वेस्ट किया एंड द बॉन्ड का कूपन इज 7%. सो व्हाट ब्रजेश इज ट्राइंग टू से that if that 1 lakh rupees you invested in a bond where the market value is equal to the face value, okay, then in that case coupon and yield दोनों सेम है. बट इनकेस ये बॉन्ड लिस्ट हो गया और अभी आपको लग रहा है इंटरेस्ट रेट कम होगा और आप ये बॉन्ड खरीदने गए बट मार्केट वैल्यू 1,000 रुपए का जो बॉन्ड है उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू अभी हो गई 1,050 या 1,100 हो गई, तो आपको 7% ही मिलना है बिकॉज कूपन फिक्स्ड है 7%. पर आप 1,000 रुपए का बॉन्ड अभी 1,100 पे खरीद रहे हो तो 1,100 के बॉन्ड में मतलब 1 लाख आपने इन्वेस्ट किया है तो आपको कितने बॉन्ड मिलेंगे, 1 लाख डिवाइड बाय whatever 1,100, so you will get x number of bonds. तो आपको कम बॉन्ड मिलेंगे और उस पे आप 7% कमाओगे तो यील्ड आपकी कम हो जाएगी. आपको 7% नहीं मिलेगा, आपको 7% से कम मिलेगा. तो व्हाट इज यील्ड? यील्ड इज डिपेंडिंग ऑन द प्राइस एट विच यू हैव बॉट द बॉन्ड, द यील्ड इज दैट. Okay, how to buy a bond? It is very simple. Bonds are listed on BSE NSE, तो आप अपने ब्रोकर के थ्रू भी वो लिस्टेड बॉन्ड्स ले सकते हो, या तो फिर आप you can contact companies like Finovate. We are financial planners. We have tied up with every large bond institution in the country, like AK Capital is one of them, where we help you buy bonds from them. Like that there are many places where a lot of bonds are available. तो we see कि कहाँ पे yield सबसे ज्यादा है उसके हिसाब से और कौन सी बॉन्ड आपको सूटेबल है उसके हिसाब से हम बॉन्ड शॉर्टलिस्ट करके
somebody has asked that bonds are pledged for margin. They are used as in cash margin. जो आप 50% cash margin देते हो, GSEC can be used as in cash margin also.
Yeah, I guess at present it is better to buy from secondary market of fresh bids. Someone is asking that.
So क्या होता है फ्रेश में, क्या होता है, it's on weekly basis, जिसके लिए आपको 10 दिन में पैसा एडवांस देना पड़ता है, and you don't know कि जिस दिन ऑक्शन होगा उस दिन क्या लेवल होगा. So it's always these all things are useful for institution where big and large money is placed and which have the better understanding of the market. On the layman side, when your planner is there, they understand that I can make these 2-3 bips covered in their negotiation skill side. So you should go on the your financial planner side only. You should not go on the auction side.
One more question is that for those who have invested in debt instruments, investing in bonds, and now because of no benefit of indexation, the post-tax return is decreased. What do you suggest to them who had already invested? What to do with them?
So I think that indexation का मार on shorter duration bond में नहीं पड़ा है. It has the more impact is on the property side. But 2-3 साल के indexation में बहुत ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ा है. 2-3 साल के indexation में शायद उसको जो टैक्स बढ़ना था 20% 20% विद इंडेक्सेशन और 10% फ्लैट, तो उसको कहीं ना कहीं 3-4% का ही डिफरेंस है, बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं है. सो यू शुड नॉट वरीड अबाउट दैट.
What is the minimum investment required in GSEC bonds?
1,000 है, but if somebody comes 1,000 के multiples में मिल सकता है, depend on the availability.
Okay, so people can invest in GSEC at as low as 1,000 also,
Yes.
right? Okay. And can they exit
Anytime.
GSEC immediately?
Anytime.
So all the GSEC is listed?
So what we do or deal is 95-99% we deal on listed bonds only.
Okay, fine. So it is better to opt for government securities which are listed.
Yes.
Right. The question is that on a 10-year plus basis, the same question.
So it depends. You people can find out their financial planning that it's suitable for 5, 10, 20 years, whatever kind of thing.
No, the question which was asked that for those who have invested in debt instruments, investing in bonds, and now because of no indexation benefit, post-tax return is decreased. The same question, they are asking that what if it's a 10-year plus horizon?
So 10-year plus, so till that you have invested for 2-3 years. Now in 10 years, see, ultimately your taxation system is getting simpler. So अगर 10 साल 15 साल का होराइजन के बाद में तो वो कहीं ना कहीं पिंच करेगा, बट वी कांट हेल्प इट आउट. अब वो गवर्नमेंट ने कर दिया है तो वी कैन आंसर टू द कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ अब क्या किया जा सकता है, पहले क्या हुआ, वी कांट आंसर दैट.
Okay. Is TDS applicable on the interest paid in the bonds?
बॉन्ड्स में होता है, जीसेक में अभी तक नहीं है. इट्स प्रपोज बट you never know कि गवर्नमेंट लाएगी कि नहीं लाएगी, because the outstanding of GSEC is quite huge. So bonds में है TDS, GSEC और SDL में नहीं है.
ओके, तो प्राइवेट बॉन्ड्स जो है, कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड्स, उसमें टीडीएस है,
Yes.
बट जो जीसेक है उसमें
उसमें
अभी
नहीं.
तक इंटरेस्ट पे टीडीएस कट नहीं होता है.
नहीं
वो फ्यूचर में चेंज हो सकता है, बट एज ऑफ नाउ देयर इज नो.
आज नहीं है, आज नहीं
As of now, okay, fine. Someone is asking about what is a brokerage in the bonds. So let me tell you, when you invest in debt mutual funds, then say for example, आपने 10 lakh rupees you have invested in a debt mutual fund, so you pay a fund management fee every year. Okay, now in a debt fund, the fund management fee can be 0.51, 1.5, depending on the fund. तो every year on that 10 lakh, 12 lakh, जैसे ही वो फंड वैल्यू बढ़ती है, उस पे आप हर साल 0.5, 1%, 1.5% फंड मैनेजमेंट फी भरते हो. बट जब आप बॉन्ड खरीदते हो तो क्या होता है, एक बार आपको एक 50 पैसे की ब्रोकरेज लग जाती है, एंड देन दैट बॉन्ड कम्स इन योर डीमैट and that is your asset, and after that there is no fund management fee or anything which you pay every year. So this is extremely cost efficient for you. In fact मतलब हर साल वो 1-1.5%, 50 पैसे हर साल आपको वो फंड मैनेजमेंट फी देने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. जीसेक खरीदो, 50 पैसा वन टाइम ब्रोकरेज है, और अपने डीमैट में उसको लाके रख दो, एंड देन 30-40 इयर्स तक आपको वो इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. इंटरेस्ट रेट कम होगा तो कैपिटल अप्रिसिएशन भी बढ़ेगा. You don't pay any annual kind of fund management fee or anything on this bonds, right? Because you bought the bonds directly. And so we say that it's very good. अगर आपको long term के लिए debt में पैसे रखने हैं, तो nothing better than GSEC. It is very cost efficient for you. It's just a one time small cost, and फिर हर साल घड़ी घड़ी फंड मैनेजमेंट फी वो सब भरने की कुछ भी जरूरत नहीं है. सो इट्स वेरी एफिशिएंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ कॉस्टिंग ऑल्सो फॉर यू. Any other questions if you have? What should be the percentage of bonds in one's portfolio in a conservative approach? Brajesh, you want to answer that question?
See, कंजर्वेटिवली बिल्ड करके जीसेक ट्रिपल ए का बना सकते हो. एंड यू नो this is a very dynamic thing which needs to be highlight and understand कि this percentage is a fixed percentage. No, आज the way we are seeing the market, probably this is the right time to go for the fixed income side, where you know lot of clarity over a period of, these are tough times for geopolitical side. So 3-4-6 महीने तक एक certain portion keep in debt. When things get clear out, you are sitting on cash. So you can allocate good money, whichever asset is running, with your एक fixed जो allocation कर दिया है fixed asset के अलावा. So it's very subjective. It's there can't be a fixed thumb rule to it.
Someone is asking what is the difference between GSEC and treasury bills?
So GSEC treasury bill में the difference is one less than 364 days is T-bill and above that is GSEC.
So if you want to park money for less than 1 year, it is better to opt for treasury bills. And
Yes.
if you want to park money for long term, like more than
It's
1 year,
GSEC.
3 year, 5 year, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, then GSEC is better. तो ये दोनों गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी है, पर
Yes.
जो 1 साल से कम है उसको ट्रेजरी बिल बोलते हैं और जो 1
Yes.
साल से ऊपर है उसको हम
GSEC.
GSEC बोलते हैं. Yeah, I think hopefully I have answered most of the questions. Yeah, one very interesting question is how can you make 12% in GSEC? Because somewhere you said that last 2-3 years people made a very high return in GSEC.
So
So someone is asking कि कैसे GSEC में उतना return मिलेगा?
Yeah, Nehal, you are well versed with the Excel. So come to the Excel. Whatever I say, just type on it. ना मैं करूँगा तो शायद थोड़ा uneasy हो जाएगा.
Yeah, sure. I will share that Excel sheet which I was working on. So we will just show how people made 12% on GSEC.
So just write ना आज 6 अक्टूबर है ना तो write 6 अक्टूबर 2023.
6th October 2023.
Yes, 2050. 2063.
2063 का bond.
हाँ. Now come to the second row ना.
Yeah.
The level were somewhere around 740 kind of thing.
7.4 coupon.
Yes.
Okay.
No, the coupon was 725. We are talking of yield.
Yield 7.4%.
Yes.
ये bond का yield था.
And the coupon, the coupon was 725. So the price comes to 15 bip का हो गया.
Coupon was
98 rupees. 98 rupees. 725. And the price was on that day 98 rupees.
Price उस bond का 98 rupees था.
Approx.
हाँ, approximately 98. So he's giving an example कि एक GSEC था जो 6th October 2023 में 2063 का GSEC available था. उसकी yield was 740, उसका coupon was 7.25 and like he said, अगर ये एक एरो उन्होंने बताया है, एक बॉडी एक्शन बताया, अगर yield coupon से ज्यादा है तो प्राइस नीचे ही है, तो प्राइस 98 रुपीस था. ठीक है. यस.
So on 6th October 24, खाली आपको इतना ही लिखना है. So the price is the yields are somewhere around 692.
1 second. 6th October 2024.
Yes.
Exactly. अभी 1 साल के बाद.
हाँ, तो आज का yield है 692 या 94 होगा.
हाँ, अभी मैंने बताया कि अभी के GSEC का yield कुछ 695 है. 6.95.
695. तो कम से कम 45 बिप बना. 1 बिप पे 11 साढ़े 11 12 पैसा है. 45 बिप पे आपका हो गया 6 रुपीज. 104 रुपए का भाव है.
अभी इस बॉन्ड का भाव जो 98 में आपने खरीदा था उसका प्राइस है 104.
तो यू मेड 740 योर रिटर्न और 6 रुपया ये. शायद मैंने ज्यादा 12.5 कंजर्वेटिव बोल दिया. So it's 13.5.
So if you can see,
live example.
ये live example है. If किसी ने last year 2063 bond, if they would have bought, the yield at that time was 740 and they bought the bond at 98 because market price was 98. Today, the yield of this bond is dropped to 6.95. But this person had bought it a year back, तो उसको 7.4% तो yield मिला. Plus, अभी उसका bond का price हो गया 98 से 104. So he earned how much? 6 rupees on 98 rupees. So he earned 7.44 interest and he earned 6 rupees on a 98 rupees investment. So now you all can calculate what is a return. Okay, so like he said, they made more than 12% in 1 year on the GSEC. Okay, तो जब भी interest rate high हो और आपको जो yield है वो ज्यादा दिख रही है कूपन से, तो market price नीचे होगा. तो मैंने आपको बोला इस point of time पे आप bond खरीद लो, जितना खरीद लो, आपको 2-3 साल में बहुत अच्छे returns GSEC पे मिल सकते हैं. और अभी 1 साल में ही इनको इतना return मिल गया और अभी भी interest rate high है. अभी इंटरेस्ट रेट और अगर कम होता जाएगा तो इनको तो और फायदा हो जाएगा. कैसे फायदा होगा? ये जो 98 का बॉन्ड का प्राइस था आज 104 हो गया, कल 105 हो जाएगा, 110 हो जाएगा. यील्ड और कम होते जाएंगे. तो यील्ड कम हो रही है पर इनको तो ज्यादा ही मिल रही है क्योंकि उन्होंने हाई इंटरेस्ट रेट पे इस बॉन्ड को ले लिया है और उनको मार्केट प्राइस भी अभी ज्यादा मिल रही है. सो ही इज गेनिंग बोथ वे, अर्निंग हाई इंटरेस्ट ऑल्सो एंड ऑल्सो द प्राइस इज गोइंग अप. So the return will be very high. Okay, so this is the live example of how someone in the last 12 months made more than 12% return in GSEC. Any other questions? Okay, I think some more questions are there. I have joined late. Please, can you tell us about gold bonds? Okay, gold bond is like a different topic, but we will very quickly talk about it. Someone is asking what is a current yield on T-bills? Like अगर 12 महीने से कम के लिए आप गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी ले रहे हो तो टी बिल्स पे अभी क्या इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है?
There are three categories in that: 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. So the current yield for 3 to 12 months is somewhere around 640 to 655.
Okay, so if someone is buying a treasury bill for 3 month to 12-month period, they are getting 6.4%.
To 6.5, depend on which
6.2 लिक्विड फंड के जितना ही रिटर्न हो गया.
yes,
लिक्विड फंड्स, अगर आप एक लिक्विड फंड में पैसे डालते हो तो लिक्विड फंड जनरली टी बिल्स में ही पैसे डालते हैं.
yes.
Right? Yeah, I think some more questions were there. In one slide, effective tax rate was mentioned around 42%.
वो
Can you
शायद
explain that?
HNI का टैक्स स्लैब वाले का क्वेश्चन होगा वो स्लाइड,
right.
बिकॉज HNI falls in 40%, so उसके ऊपर सेस एंड एवरीथिंग गेट्स, तो करीबन
Right. तो
40%.
जो इंटरेस्ट रेट उनको वो मिल रहा है
Interest,
उसमें
yes,
इंटरेस्ट पे उनको, बिकॉज वो हाई टैक्स ब्रैकेट में
yes,
33%
yes,
के ब्रैकेट में नहीं है, वो
yes,
40% के ऊपर के ब्रैकेट में, तो उनको वो इंटरेस्ट लग जाता है. राइट?
yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And some another questions in Q&A. Okay, can you GSEC which one second best bonds at present? We showed a lot of bonds. There is a question which is an online platform to buy bonds, and is RBI directly give bonds? Yes, RBI also directly gives bonds. But like was mentioned by Brajesh, that there is an advantage if you go through any intermediaries,
So
because there are a lot of choices.
There are a lot of technicalities when you buy a bond from the RBI direct. You can't then pledge them or use as a margin in exchanges. The second disadvantage, or the likelihood chances, that you can only sell those bonds on the RBI retail direct platform only. So you can't trade with any other one else. So if somebody is comfortable in doing that, there's no option for them.
Okay, and even let me tell you, sometimes when they are buying bonds through us, they are getting better pricing and better yield on the bonds than RBI platform also. तो वो लग रहा है कि वो direct retail है, तो वो cheaper है, but it is not like that, because we are getting bonds from large institutional players and they would have taken the bonds long back. So sometimes the pricing which AK is offering us, or which a lot of other bond players are offering us, is more competitive than even what the RBI is offering. Okay, so it's not like that कि अगर आप वो RBI retail से ले रहे हो तो आपको कुछ सस्ता पड़ रहा है या better पड़ रहा है. Operationally उसमें काफी hassle है. So I would recommend that if you're dealing in bond, because there are so many choices, so many options, it is better if someone understands what your proper requirement is, what your risk-taking ability is, what your time horizon is, and then they offer you some 4-5 bonds to choose from. That will be better, and वो bond आपके डीमैट में आ जाएंगे. और अगर आपको वो प्लेज करना है, कुछ भी करना है, तो वो आपके लिए सिंपल हो जाएगा. सो दैट इज अ मोर बेटर रूट फॉर बाइंग बॉन्ड्स. Any other questions in chat in case if I'm missing? Yeah, you want to throw some light on the gold bonds? Because someone has asked questions on
gold
the
bonds, in this August, there is a circular that government has stopped issuing gold bonds, and since last 4 years, government is doing premature redemption of the gold bond, compulsory premature redemption. So that attractiveness has gone now. So whatever gold bond you would be buying now would be for 2-3 years only. That competitive advantage of 7 years has gone.
Right. Okay. Okay, fine. I guess we have answered most of the questions. So there is a chat may we are posting one link. You all can join our group where every week we have educative sessions on finance, like very different topics, and the whole idea is to be very unbiased and to really explain the concepts as it is, for your benefit, so that all of you all are informed investors. So there is a link we are posting in the chat. You all can click on that and you all can join the group where you will get updates about our regular sessions which happen. So on Sundays, on alternate Sundays, we have very detailed session like we had today, where we pick up one topic and we dive deep into that topic. And every Wednesday, we have the FinFit Wednesday sessions where we pick up one finance concept, and it's a very short 30 to 40 minutes of presentation. And then, we have a Q&A after that. The Sunday sessions are little longer, where we try and bring, topics which are like detailed topics. Okay, yeah, link please. If you can see, join our WhatsApp group. We have posted a link in the chat. You all can see that link in the chat. You all can join the group, and you all can also rate our sessions, because that will help us improve and bring more and more sessions. So if we can just have the rating, it will be nice if you all can rate our sessions, and you all can send the group invitation link to your friends and family, because a lot of you all have been attending our sessions, and I got a feedback that people are really appreciating the unbiased and very simplified education on a lot of concepts on finance. So I would say that you all can help us spread this financial literacy. You all can share the joining link to like your friends and family, and most of you all are welcome to attend our sessions. There is no obligation of any kind to deal with us or invest through us or do financial planning with us or anything. These are absolutely complimentary sessions for anyone to gain knowledge. Still, if anyone have any questions on bonds, which we would have not covered today, you all are free to get in touch with us. Normally, our emails will have the email IDs, or we'll also post the email ID. If you all have any queries pertaining to bonds, which we would have not covered today, you all are free to cover that. Like, you all are free to write to us. We will try and answer or respond back to your answers. I think someone has raised hands in the session. Okay. No, I guess. So thank you so much for joining us on
Thank you
Sunday
everyone.
morning. And, we are like glad that we could wrap up on time. Where to read about bonds? So we will send you a link where we'll help you understand on the bonds. Someone is asking on the transaction cost. So Brajesh, like I said, that when you're buying bonds, there may be a 50 bips kind of a cost. So when someone is selling bonds, then is there any kind of cost? Is it 50 bips only, or is it no cost on selling the bond?
It's a market driven. So we don't load anything. जो भी market का price होता है, we get two-way quotes. So we had our offerings on buying and selling.
So when you are selling the bond, because these are listed bonds, the price is already mentioned. So there is no, I guess, exit load or anything on the selling of the bonds.
Yes.
Yeah, we will give you whatever today's PPT was there. We'll make like a note on this PPT, and we will email it to every participant who has attended today, because a lot of people are asking that if we want to read. So today's PPT only, we'll convert it into a kind of an article and send it to you all, where you all can understand secured, unsecured, different ratings and everything about the bond. So I hope people have registered with their email IDs, so we can email back the detail, a note on how the bond works and all, whatever a synopsis of our today's presentation.